Andrew Holness rose faster than anyone expected, but is his story one of inspiration or unanswered questions? How does a boy raised by a farmer and a civil servant become the Caribbean's richest prime minister? Andrew Holness' secret Beverly Hills mansion, cars and lifestyle exposed. In this video, we are going to expose Andrew Holness' hidden Beverly Hills mansion, secret multi-million-dollar companies, his cars and lifestyle as Jamaica's prime minister who turned resilience and foresight into national leadership. Is Holness the richest prime minister in the Caribbean? Born in Spanish Town, he grew up in a disciplined home where education was the family's greatest asset. His brilliance carried him to the University of the West Indies, where his attention shifted from books to the bigger picture, Jamaica's future. By 25, he secured a seat in Parliament. By 39, he was Prime Minister. Today, Holness stands at the center of politics, wealth, and debate, shaping both Jamaica's destiny and his own contested legacy. Andrew Michael Holness was born on July 22, 1972, in the historic town of Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Jamaica. Long before the flashing cameras, the political rallies, and the lavish lifestyle associated with high office, Andrew lived a childhood defined not by privilege, but by discipline and modesty. His father, Morris Holness, spent part of his life as a farmer before later working as a sociologist, while his mother, Sonia Harvey, was a dedicated civil servant. Together, they raised Andrew and his 5 siblings in a household that valued hard work, education, and resilience over luxury. Growing up in Spanish Town during the 1970s and 80s wasn't easy. Jamaica was facing turbulent times. Economic uncertainty, crime, and political divisions defined much of the national atmosphere. But within that modest home, young Andrew learned early lessons about perseverance. These values would serve as the quiet foundation for a man who would one day lead the nation. Even as a boy, Andrew stood out. At St. Catherine High School, he wasn't just another student trying to get by. He was the kind of student everyone noticed. Bright, articulate, and socially confident, Andrew didn't just thrive in his studies, he led. By graduation, he had earned the honor of valedictorian, proving his academic excellence. But his achievements weren't limited to the classroom. He also led the school's chess club, sharpening a skill that would become central to his life: strategic thinking. Much like a game of chess, politics requires foresight, patience, and the ability to think 3 moves ahead, qualities Andrew was already nurturing as a teenager. His academic brilliance earned him a place at the University of the West Indies, one of the region's most prestigious institutions. There, he pursued a Bachelor of Science in Management Studies and later went on to complete a Master's in Development Studies. The university years were transformative. While many of his peers focused purely on academics, Andrew's mind was increasingly drawn toward the bigger picture: the state of Jamaica, the direction of its economy, and the role of leadership in shaping the island's future. The early 1990s were a turning point for Jamaica. The country was facing economic challenges, social inequality, and uncertainty about its political future. And it was during this time that Andrew took his first steps into politics, joining the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP. Little did anyone know, this young man from Spanish Town was beginning a journey that would take him from the classrooms of UWI to the most powerful office in the land. The rise of a political star. In 1997, Andrew Holness officially stepped into the national spotlight. At just 25 years old, he contested and won the seat as Member of Parliament for St. Andrew West Central, one of Kingston's most politically significant constituencies. This was no small feat at an age when most young adults were still trying to figure out their careers. Andrew had already carved out a place in the cutthroat world of Jamaican politics. But politics in Jamaica is rarely smooth sailing. His early years were marked by turbulence, including election disputes that led to court challenges and reruns. Lesser men might have walked away, but Andrew stayed resilient. He learned quickly that leadership was not about instant victories, it was about persistence. A major turning point came in 2007. Then Prime Minister Bruce Golding appointed him Minister of Education, placing one of the country's most important portfolios in his hands. Education had always been a sensitive issue in Jamaica, and Holness wasted no time making bold moves. He introduced reforms aimed at raising literacy and numeracy standards, ensuring more students could compete on a global stage. While some of these policies were controversial, they established Andrew as a leader with vision, not just another career politician. Then, in 2011, everything changed. Prime Minister Bruce Golding resigned amid political scandal, and Andrew Holness, at only 39 years old, was thrust into the top job. Overnight, he became Jamaica's youngest ever Prime Minister. The nation watched closely. Could a man not yet 40 really steer Jamaica through its challenges? His first tenure was short. Later that same year, he lost the general election. But this was far from the end of his story. Andrew didn't crumble. He regrouped, re-strategized, and waited for the right moment. And in 2016, that moment came. Leading the Jamaica Labour Party, he narrowly defeated the opposition, securing victory by just one seat. It was a razor-thin margin, but it marked the beginning of a new era. 4 years later, in 2020, Holness proved his staying power. Riding a wave of popularity and stability, he led his party to a landslide victory, crushing the opposition and cementing his place as one of Jamaica's dominant political figures of the modern age. For many Jamaicans, he had transformed from a young, untested leader into a symbol of resilience, discipline, and persistence. Now they're the power couple, Andrew and Juliet. Behind Andrew's rise is a woman whose influence cannot be overstated, his wife, Juliet Holness. Their story is one of partnership, ambition, and shared vision. Andrew and Juliet first met at St. Catherine High School, where their friendship blossomed into romance. By 1997, the very same year Andrew entered Parliament, they tied the knot. Juliet was never just a politician's wife. She built her own career as a chartered accountant and later ventured into real estate development. Through her company, JJ Development and Holdings, Juliet played a pivotal role in building the family's real estate empire. Her financial expertise and business acumen complemented Andrew's political career, making them one of Jamaica's most formidable couples. But Juliet didn't remain in the background. In 2016, she entered politics herself and won a seat in Parliament. This achievement made history. For the first time, Jamaica had a husband and wife duo serving simultaneously in its parliament. By 2023, Juliet had risen to become the Speaker of the House of Representatives, further solidifying her as a powerful force in her own right. Together, Andrew and Juliet became more than just a married couple. They became a political powerhouse. Their partnership symbolized not just love and family, but influence and strategy. In the Caribbean, few couples hold as much sway as the Holness. Talking about his children and family life? Amid the demands of politics and business, Andrew and Juliet also nurtured a close-knit family life. They have 2 sons, Adam and Matthew, who are often kept away from the harsh glare of politics but are raised with values of humility, service, and responsibility. In fact, the family's business trust is named ADMAT Incorporated, an acronym of Adam and Matthew. Through this trust, they own their Beverly Hills property, ensuring that the estate becomes part of their son's inheritance. This isn't just about wealth. It's about securing generational stability and leaving behind a legacy of financial prudence. Despite their high-profile status, the Holness family is often portrayed as grounded and united. They appear together at national events, presenting an image of stability that resonates with many Jamaicans. For Andrew, being seen as both a national leader and a dedicated family man has become part of his brand. The Holness residence is located in Beverly Hills, St. Andrew, one of Jamaica's most prestigious neighborhoods. With sweeping views of Kingston, the home reflects both success and security. But it is more than just a house, it's a fortress. In recent years, security around the property was heightened following credible threats against the Prime Minister and his family. While the move was criticized by some who questioned the costs, supporters argued that protecting the nation's leader and his family was non-negotiable. The property is valued in the tens of millions of Jamaican dollars, but this is just one piece of their real estate empire. Over the years, Andrew and Juliet have expanded their holdings, generating millions annually through rental income and property development. The Beverly Hills residence serves as the centerpiece of a broader strategy turning real estate into the backbone of long-term wealth. When it comes to cars, Andrew Holness doesn't indulge in flamboyance or showmanship. Unlike some leaders who roll out fleets of exotic sports cars, Andrew's choices are practical, refined, and suited to the stature of his office. His official state vehicle is a BMW 740 Li, a luxury sedan known globally for its elegance, comfort, and cutting-edge safety features. It's the kind of car that doesn't scream excess but speaks volumes about class, discipline, and responsibility. Beyond the BMW, Holness has also been seen using a Land Rover Discovery, an SUV that strikes a balance between rugged performance and luxury interiors. For a leader whose duties span both the polished streets of Kingston and visits to rural communities across the island, such versatility makes sense. The Land Rover offers the strength needed for challenging terrain while ensuring the dignity expected of a head of government. Observers often note that Holness' car collection mirrors his personality. He's not interested in flashy Ferraris or Lamborghinis. Instead, his focus seems to be on vehicles that project professionalism, reliability, and sophistication. It's a carefully curated image, one that reinforces his brand as a modern leader who values order and discipline over excess. To truly understand Andrew Holness' lifestyle, we need to move past the cars and look at the financial backbone of his success. Officially, as Prime Minister, Holness' salary is modest compared to global leaders. In 2016, his base pay was about 7.3 million Jamaican dollars, around $55,000 in US terms. He also received a travel allowance of 1.2 million Jamaican dollars, though it's unclear whether he used it, given his access to government transportation. The true source of the Holness family's wealth lies in investments and real estate. Over the years, the family has built a property portfolio that consistently generates income. By 2019, rental earnings exceeded 2 million Jamaican dollars annually. That figure climbed to over 3 million the following year, reflecting a steady and deliberate expansion strategy. Juliet Holness also contributes significantly. Her personal income, around 4 million Jamaican dollars annually, comes from a blend of her political role and her real estate business. Together, the couple has turned property into their most reliable wealth-building tool. Beyond real estate, Holness has also invested in securities and the US stock market. In 2019, he held about 11.7 million Jamaican dollars in local securities and $94,000 in US investments. By 2020, that amount had grown to $113,000, and he earned over $16,000 from stock market gains. These figures show a leader who not only governs but also understands financial diversification, a skill many Jamaicans admire, especially in a country where generational wealth is often elusive. By 2020, the Holness family's business assets were valued at over 130 million Jamaican dollars. According to the Integrity Commission, their net worth grew by 51.5 million in just 5 years. This rapid rise has sparked both admiration and suspicion. For supporters, it's evidence of financial discipline and strategic vision. For critics, it raises uncomfortable questions about transparency and possible conflicts of interest. About his philanthropy. For all the wealth and criticism, Andrew Holness has made an effort to give back. His philanthropic work paints a picture of a leader who understands the importance of community and social responsibility. In 2021, Holness donated 2.5 million Jamaican dollars to the University of Technology. During the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, he contributed $750,000 to assist students at Northern Caribbean University, helping many of them stay in school during a time of economic strain. He also supported the distribution of tablets to students across the island as schools transitioned to online learning, a move that helped bridge the digital divide at a critical moment. Through the Positive Jamaica Foundation, Holness has backed mental health programs, vocational training initiatives for the deaf community, and support services for vulnerable groups, including children, people living with disabilities, and those affected by HIV/AIDS. His philanthropy even crosses borders. Holness has worked with international organizations like the Art of Living Foundation and the American Friends of Jamaica, expanding his reach beyond the island and projecting Jamaica as a nation that cares not only about local issues but also about global development. But no leader's legacy is free from shadows. Alongside his achievements, Andrew Holness has faced multiple controversies that continue to follow him. One of the most significant has been investigations by Jamaica's Integrity Commission. Reports in 2023 and 2024 raised questions about Holness' financial disclosures and whether there were conflicts of interest, particularly regarding government contracts awarded during his time as Minister of Education. The Commission highlighted discrepancies in his wealth declarations and the connections between state projects and individuals close to him. While prosecutors declined to press charges, citing insufficient evidence of criminal activity, the reports fueled public debate. Opposition figures demanded his resignation, pointing to these concerns as proof of corruption in high office. His party, however, stood firmly by him, dismissing the claims as politically motivated and emphasizing that no wrongdoing had been proven. For many Jamaicans, these controversies highlight a deeper issue, whether leaders can truly be transparent and accountable in a system where power and money often intersect. Holness' reputation as a disciplined, strategic leader is weighed against the perception that his rapid accumulation of wealth remains only partially explained. As of 2025, Andrew Holness stands at the center of Jamaica's political and economic narrative. From his humble beginnings in Spanish Town to his residence in Beverly Hills, he has lived a story of determination, strategy, and ambition. Few leaders in the Caribbean have built such a powerful brand. His partnership with Juliet has made them a political and financial power couple, combining real estate savvy with political influence. Their family life, marked by unity and long-term planning, projects stability to a nation often weary of chaos. His investments demonstrate foresight, while his philanthropy showcases a willingness to reinvest in his people. But his story is not without complexity. To some, he embodies the ideal of upward mobility, proof that hard work, education, and strategy can elevate anyone from modest beginnings to national leadership. To others, the unanswered questions about his wealth raise doubts about fairness, transparency, and the true cost of political success. Still, Andrew Holness has undeniably left his mark. He has steered Jamaica through critical elections, economic shifts, and global crises. He has become one of the most recognizable Caribbean leaders on the international stage. And whether admired or criticized, his life reflects the delicate balance between personal ambition, public service, and the expectations of a people who look to him for leadership. Conclusion and call to action. So there you have it, the full story of Andrew Holness' wife, his children, his Beverly Hills home, his carefully selected cars, his investments and net worth, his philanthropy, and the controversies that continue to spark national debate. From a boy in Spanish Town raised by a farmer-turned-sociologist and a civil servant, to a prime minister living in one of Jamaica's most exclusive neighborhoods, Andrew Holness' journey is nothing short of remarkable. His life is a reminder that success in politics is never simple. It is built on resilience, ambition, strategic thinking, and sometimes, controversy. But now the question is yours to answer. Is Andrew Holness the symbol of resilience and success that many Jamaicans see in him? Or do the unanswered questions about his financial empire cast too heavy a shadow over his legacy? Andrew Holness' life is a powerful blend of resilience, ambition, and complexity. From a humble childhood to the gates of Beverly Hills, he represents both the promise and the paradox of modern leadership. With Juliet at his side, he built a family empire rooted in politics, real estate, and influence, all while navigating the scrutiny that comes with power. For some, he is a symbol of hope. For others, a figure of unanswered questions. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more powerful stories that shape our world.